All right, man. I'm here with my guy, Derrick Lafontaine. Um, Derrick, how long have we known each other?
Since I was uh, 12, I think. So it's been, 12, 22, 32, 28 years? Almost 30 years?
Almost 30 years.
That's a long fucking time, right? Yeah.
When we originally met, you were coming from Texas, right?
Yeah.
You, your
Yep.
mom, and your sister.
Mhm.
And man, I remember you lived right around the corner from the grocery store, Shore Fine on West A Street.
Yeah. I'm not even
And
sure.
so 28 years ago, uh, man, that goes by fast, right?
Really fast. I can't believe it's been, I can't believe that we're at the age that we're able to say, hey, you remember 20 years ago? Like that sounds far fetched, you know?
So would you
But yeah,
say,
it's been almost 30 fucking years.
right? So is it safe to say that over the course of almost 30 years,
Uh,
we've basically been like family,
I
and
would say that. Yeah.
we've
I've
been
called
able
your mother mom and you call my mother mom. So yeah, I'd say that.
and
You're a brother to me.
we've been able to watch each other grow as people
Mm-hmm.
over the course of that time.
Definitely. Absolutely.
I'm not gonna judge you today for smoking that cigarette,
Hey, I have
but
bad habits.
but what I love about you though is that you've always been unapologetically you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Even back in the day when you were just a scrawny little kid with that crazy ass haircut that you used to have. But you were always the only white guy with a group of black dudes.
Yeah, you can say that.
I mean, I mean, when you think
Yeah.
about how we grew up, like I just before we jumped on
I
this
don't know if you
call,
remember where that stemmed. I don't know if you really remember where that stemmed from. Do you remember where that stemmed from?
well, give me a second and I'm gonna have you elaborate on that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you remember how many times we stayed at each other's houses,
Yeah.
went in each other's refrigerators,
All
slept
the time.
slept in the same bed, two or three of us sometimes. Um,
All the
e- Even when you guys got rich and moved out to the suburbs and left
time.
us you guys got out of the hood, man.
You
But
left the hood.
yeah, but you were always the minority in our neighborhood. But I don't remember, and I could be wrong here, but I don't remember anyone, at least in our crew, treating you any different than the rest of us.
No, you were the only ones that treated me the same.
So just before you and I hopped on this call, I
Yeah.
called you on Facebook, and your mom was there, and I was cursing. And what's the first thing I said?
Hey, you should tell me when your mom was there.
I've called your mom for
Yeah.
over 28 years.
Yeah, I always called your mom mom.
And you've called my
Mom.
mom
It's
this
his
whole
mom.
time.
Yeah.
You've been my brother. You probably were my original non-black friend. You know how a lot of people will say, like, when it comes to they talk about race, and there's always that one white guy that says my best friend is black. Like
Yeah.
you're that one white guy that I could always say my brother, my not my best friend, my
Yeah.
brother
My
is
brother's white. Fuck
white,
you.
and I have a white mother and a
Yeah.
white sister, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, uh, you were alluding to the genesis of the beginning of our relationship, or how that came to be. Tell me your perspective, how you remember that happening.
I remember it very clearly because I'll never ever forget it, and it almost brings me to tears thinking about it
Don't
because it
get
was all
choked
love,
up. Don't
right?
start that
Like,
shit.
so like when I had first moved from Texas, I was put into a private school, St. Andrews, that was right around the corner from Strong Vincent, and around the corner from, I think it was called Emerson Gridley.
Emerson Gridley, yeah.
Yeah. So when I had first moved to Pennsylvania, I got made fun of and I was beat up because the other white kids, they thought it was funny that I talked with a heavy accent and, I was from Texas, And so I was getting my ass kicked and made fun of all the time. So now, being that we grew up in the same neighborhood, and we were all colorblind at that time, you know what I mean? Like, it was neighborhood kids.
We were
Whoever
kids
was in the neighborhood, that's who we were, you know what I mean?
We were kids 30 years ago, for sure.
Yeah. So it got to the point where you, your brother, Donald Morris.
Donald, yeah. He recently reached out to me on Facebook. Shout out to Donald Morris, who is a friend, but he's been a brother to guys like Derrick and I for almost 30 years. Yep.
Yeah, it was you, me, Donald, Buckwheat, James Jackson.
Buckwheat, that'd be Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
Jeff Lomax.
Yeah. I still call him Buckwheat. Yeah, so it got to the point where you guys' schools were starting like 20 minutes after mine. So you literally walked me to school, made sure no one fucked with me, and then came and picked me up from school because at that time, as far as the city went, there was no school buses taking us back and forth to school. We walked to school and we walked home.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So y'all would walk me to school, make sure nothing happened, and then come back and pick me up in the parking lot and walk me back home. And that's where the bond, no matter what the color was, that's where the bond started. Because in my eyes, you were definitely family and you were looking out for my well-being, regardless of who the fuck was fucking with me. Didn't matter. And so that's how, that's where the friendship really initiated from.